Why? Because I know somebody's listening to this is thinking, if you really wanted to help them, you would just list it on the MLS and, sell it for the highest price possible. But
Great.
You're coming in as an investor to undercut them and get it for the cheapest price possible or something. What do you say to somebody who says that?
One of my chapters is called "Do You Just Lowball?" Right? It's a great question. I am very transparent with my numbers. I like to tell the family exactly what the house will sell for in a retail setting, right? The big number. When I tell them that, I usually see them go, "Oh, I didn't think he'd ever say that number to me." How we make our value as investors is I can do a $60,000 rehab for 40. That's our 20 grand profit right there, Joe. And for them, they live in North Carolina and Mountain St. Louis, and who's gonna, by the way, the market's so good right now, you know what else we're forgetting? It's really hard to find contractors that are competent.
Oh my gosh, that's a great point.
And who's gonna pay for it? Remember, mom needs money. By the way, realtors, I love realtors. You know how many, okay, I'm gonna keep answering your question the same way. Realtors bring me deals all the time. Why? The family does not want to do the steps needed to get the house ready for the market, even in a great market. Yeah. Realtors help me all the time. They walk in and the first thing they say is, clean this place out. Well, Joe, that in itself is a 2-month job for even families that get along.
And how stressful is that? For the mother.
Well, for the adult child. There's one adult child, we're in here in St. Louis, there's a lot of 6-kid families out here, right? There's one kid that they're getting the stress from their brothers and sisters who think they're not doing it right. They're still having a needy mom who does need help. She's still got doctor's appointments and all this stuff. It's usually a female that still lives in town next to mom. Not always, I'm being stereotypical there, but it's a lot of times it's a female, and the adult children from all over the country say, "You're crazy, mom doesn't need that kind of care, and we should sell the house for $1 million." And keep in mind, we're talking about 50 and 60-year-olds. They still have lives. I was just talking to a guy the other day that this happened to him, and he said it was a 30-hour-a-week job to get his Nana placed for almost 3 months because she had an 80-pound dog. So the dilemma of having that dog cost him, he said, 30 hours a week to try to get it all figured out. And he goes, "I wish I would have met you 4 months ago." And let's talk about this too. That most responsible child still has kids of her own, still has a husband at home. And I've seen people break up during that time if the loved one stays sick for too long, because now that needy husband is like, "Where are you at all the time, right? Why aren't your brothers and sisters helping out?" And there's resentment building. Like, it's one of the most stressful times in people.
I'm getting stressed just thinking about it. Goodness.
Yeah. Well, and you know what's made me, Joe? It's made me a minimalist because the stuff a lot of times is harder. I go in 20 houses a week, right? If I drug something home from every house, I would end up, I got one for you. Instead of calling it hoarding, if you like the person, call it aggressive collector.
Aggressive collector.
You're an aggressive collector, right? I don't want to be an aggressive collector. I've learned that my wife and I have this rule: if we haven't used it or touched it in 24 months, we don't need it in our house. And so the houses I see
did you say you look at 20 houses a week?
Sure. Whether it's online or I look at 20 opportunities, I don't walk through that many. I think in my 22 years, you learn what's not a deal. That's one thing about mom's house. I don't know if it's a good deal in Chicago or North Carolina or West Coast, but in St. Louis, if you give me the address, I can probably tell you what it's worth, just because I've been doing it for so long.